What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today it is time to look ahead to our Game Week 22 team selection. What's up everyone, FPL Harry here. Today it is Game Week 22 team selection time, double Game Week 22. Of course, the double for Manchester United and Leeds this week. We'll be looking at my potential transfers. We'll be looking at my team for this week as well, plus potential transfers going forward and discussing whether I'm going to play my triple captain on Marcus Rashford or not, or even on another Manchester United player as well. We will get through all of that in today's video. Just before we do, let's have a quick review of how I got on in Game Week 21. It was a fair few weeks ago, but it was a very good week for me. Before we get into that as well, make sure you smash the like button. We're going to try and hit 1,000 likes on the video. If you haven't subscribed already as well, go and click that subscribe button. But it was a very good week for me. It was 92 points overall. Defensively, things went very, very well. Kepa, I decided to start, got 9 points with 1 on the bench for Danny Ward. Finally, I get a goalkeeper decision right. Of course, the previous week in Game Week 20, I went the wrong way. Decided to bench Kepa for his 10 points and play Danny Ward that week. So glad that I got that one right this week. Moving into defense, Trippier doing Trippier bits again. Then it was John Stones. John Stones, a big differential for me, coming in with 8 points. Now, it does look like he's picked up an injury and is not going to be available for Game Week 22 or probably Game Week 23 and onwards as well. It doesn't look like he's going to be back featuring for Manchester City anytime soon. It's been a roller coaster for him, but still very happy with 8 points there. White with a 0. Again, Arsenal not looking that great defensively in that game, but it was against Manchester United, right? I also benched Luke Shaw and I have Patterson injured. All of those scored 0 points, so it didn't really make a difference which of them I started. Into midfield, Saka 9, Rashford 7, Mahrez 6 were the 3 returns. Blanks from Mo Salah. Finally, it is time to sell Mo Salah, 2 for Martinelli, and then up front, Harry Kane with a 6, and then a massive 34-pointer from Erling Haaland. A great week for me, some big differentials, particularly Bukayo Saka and John Stones coming in with some strong returns. Moved me up from 19k to just inside the top 10k. I'm about half a point inside the top 10k. Very, very happy with that, given that I've still got my triple captain, my bench boost, my wildcard, and my free hit still to play. But of course, we might be playing one this week. So to look now at confirmed or potential transfers going into Game Week 22. Of course, we have a couple of transfers that I've been speaking a lot about, and it is finally time. Mo Salah is going to leave my lineup and Bruno Fernandes is going to be the one that is going to come in. I am waiting to see the full-time result in the Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest match in the EFL Cup. I am not expecting Bruno Fernandes to start, and I'm not expecting, if he does start, to get a lot of minutes. I am recording before the lineups have come out of that. I am going to wait for that. I am going to look at potential price changes and only move if Fernandes is likely to rise tonight. If not, it'll probably be Thursday or Friday that I decide to make that transfer. But I'm going to make that transfer unless Bruno Fernandes does go and get injured. And if he does get injured tonight, you probably won't be seeing the video to this point anyway. Then the other transfer was going to be Greenwood to Gnonto. I'm pretty certain that is going to be off the cards now. I don't think it's worth it. I think the transfers are better used further down the line. I might end up buying Gnonto closer to the Game Week 25 when I have a few more transfers. But I think this week it's just going to be one transfer of Mo Salah to Bruno Fernandes. So that one transfer will allow me to do a couple of moves going into next week as well. So I will roll the second transfer, meaning I'll have 2 transfers going into Game Week 23. And this is the reason I don't want to go and take the second transfer this week in going and buying Gnonto in for Greenwood. Again, if I did that, I'd have to bench quite a good asset this week, which I don't want to do. Plus, it would mean I'd have to take a -4 next week as well. So with John Stones out, again, I need to make a move to go and add in triple Manchester City. Now, I could just go John Stones to the likes of Nathan Ake, but I have got an eye on that triple Manchester City attack. And I've had my eye on that for a couple of weeks, and I do think it's the way I'm going to go next week. So with 2 free transfers next week, of course, rolling one from this week, it was Bueno I was going to bring in for John Stones, but looking at it, Mings looks quite a nice option for the blank in Game Week 25. Plus the blank that we've had in Game Week 28 as well. If you haven't watched my chip strategy video, hence the importance of the blank in Game Week 28 and why I want to buy Tyrone Mings, make sure you go and check out my chip strategy video, which was up earlier in the week. It should have all your useful chip strategy guides, double game weeks, blank game weeks info that you should need for the remainder of the season. This as well will free up the money that I need. Well, actually, it won't free up enough money. I have the money in the bank after doing the transfer this week of Salah down to upgrade Bruno Fernandes. So he's only going to stay in my team 1 week, I think, and go and get that triple Manchester City attack with Kevin De Bruyne coming in place of Bruno Fernandes. Now, I could end up just doing one transfer, doing Stones to the likes of Nathan Ake, for example, and just keeping that as my triple Manchester City, given I already have Mahrez, Haaland, and then I'd add the defender in there. It may depend on how likely I think the likes of Ben White and Martinelli are to keep their place in the Arsenal lineup. I am eyeing up doing sideways moves of Martinelli to Odegaard and Ben White, probably to Gabriel. And now, if I decide that I need to do those transfers sooner rather than later going into their double, then I could just do John Stones down to Nathan Ake and hold off going with the triple Manchester City attack and just keep the defensive option in there as well. I currently think next week I will look to go and get Kevin De Bruyne. I like it as a move. Some of you looking to jump off this week to go to Bruno Fernandes, I don't mind that at all, but for the double, I still think I like him, and I don't necessarily back that Manchester City defense just because of how good some of the other defenders are who are at a cheaper price. So looking at my Game Week 22 lineup and how I plan on lining up, we are going to go with Kepa in goal again. Fulham at home, they do play Friday night, which I don't love having Friday night assets, but it's got to be done. I don't plan on starting Danny Ward unless I really have to. Aston Villa away is an okay fixture, but Leicester have been pretty poor defensively. They haven't massively strengthened in that area in the January transfer window either, so I plan on playing Kepa pretty much every week now. Again, Chelsea are not conceding a lot of goals. Yes, they're not scoring a lot, but they're not conceding a lot, and they've got a lot of players coming back from injury around this time as well, the likes of Reece James, Chilwell, Fofana, then they've got Badiashile, and they have Thiago Silva. Defensively, they looked really strong, and of course Enzo Fernandez coming in to replace Jorginho as well. Then we move into defence, and I'm going with Ben White, we're going with Kieran Trippier, and we're going with Luke Shaw as well. Ben White is in there again, Everton away. I do think he'll start this one, but when the games start coming thick and fast like they do from game week 23 onwards, I am a little bit concerned about Tomiyasu getting the occasional start or the early sub before 60 minute that we've also seen for Ben White. But this week, I'm happy with him. It is Stones. He's on my bench. I don't need to start him this week, means I don't need to sell him this week. He is away at Tottenham, and I'm absolutely fine having him on my bench. Now, next to him, Kieran Trippier, the man that is Kieran Trippier. Without Bruno Guimaraes, I'll be interested to see how they do get on against West Ham. West Ham look like they're turning a corner in terms of their form, but I actually don't have double Newcastle, so I'd quite like for West Ham to score in this one because of the high ownership of the double Newcastle defence. And then we have Luke Shaw. It's very close for me actually between Luke Shaw and Bruno Fernandes for the vice captaincy, and we'll talk about that in a moment. I am actually swaying to Luke Shaw. He looks like he's in the squad for Manchester United this evening as well. Has been seen arriving for the match against Nottingham Forest. So pretty confident that he's going to be fine to start both in the double. Crystal Palace being without Wilfried Zaha as well means I think there's a very good chance for at least one clean sheet in here for them. And he has the attacking threat and bonus point potential. I think he could do really well. Moving into midfield now. So we, of course, have Marcus Rashford. He's in there. He's going to be in everyone's team. He's pretty set to be my captain, but he might end up being my triple captain. New transfer in Bruno Fernandes will be in here come the game week 22 deadline unless he picks up an injury tonight. Then we have double Arsenal. The Arsenal nice run of fixtures does start. Saka, I am going to hold firm with Martinelli for now. He is a player that I am looking to go sideways. Trossard, let's see how he impacts him against Everton. If it's something I continue to be concerned by, Martinelli to Odegaard is such an easy transfer. I would do it for a -4 as well because I look over the next sort of 5-10 game weeks and think, yeah, I think that -4 will pay off. It's only 4 points, and I expect Odegaard to outscore Martinelli by that between the next 5 or 10 game weeks. Then, of course, Saka in here. Hopefully, he can continue to get some returns. Now, I've had a lot of questions about what Jorginho is going to do to him and whether he'll keep penalties. First of all, I don't expect Jorginho to necessarily start. Yes, Partey being injured might mean he comes in the lineup, and we might well see Jorginho take penalties, given that Saka's not that confident at them, and Jorginho is one of the best penalty takers in the history of the Premier League at the moment. So I do think there's a chance that he loses him. If that is the case, it doesn't necessarily make Saka a great option. I still think he's the second best attacker, second best midfielder. You might argue Nketiah, but I do still like owning him. I've got no worries about owning him. And then, of course, we have Riyad Mahrez. So no Kevin De Bruyne in here at the moment. Mahrez, they have had a week off. They do have Spurs. We remember what he did last time in the double game week against Spurs, hoping for some good returns from him. Now, as I said, Fernandes is likely to come in this week, and then it's likely to be Kevin De Bruyne next week. This is the time of the season that I absolutely love. Anyone who's followed this channel for a while knows how much in my mind I spend time planning transfers, planning chips, planning chip strategy, planning future moves down the line. So early on in the season, it's yes, I'm going to do A out, B in, and it's simple every week. There are so many combinations of moves, chip strategy between now and the end of the season. This is really where I hope to make my ground with the planning that we have, with the amount of detail that we can go into, and it's where you start to make the ground with playing your chips and attacking these doubles and blanks well. So Fernandes in for 1 week, and then going to Kevin De Bruyne is a combination of moves that I really like. And again, I love this point in the season. So excited for those blanks doubles to start. Again, I posted on Twitter, we actually have more double/blank game weeks than we have normal game weeks left between now and the end of the season, which again just means we're probably only halfway through the season in terms of points to be scored. It's going to be a crazy end to the season. It's going to be a roller coaster. If you haven't already, make sure you've liked, make sure you've subscribed as well. I'm going to help you out as much as I can to get those green arrows to win your mini leagues between now and the end of the season as well. But up front, it is the usual two. It is Haaland and it is Harry Kane. We've got Greenwood on the bench. He does have a double, but I don't think he'll play both games. He might come on as a sub, but I'm quite happy to have Greenwood on my bench, not expecting him to feature very much. They are playing against each other, but it is at Spurs, so maybe Harry Kane can get something. Maybe their new fullback that they've signed. Let's see. Maybe Son's found a bit of form as well after his performance in the FA Cup. I'm happy with these two going forward. Pretty solid front two. Kane's fixtures from next week look really good. And of course, it's Erling Haaland. But Erling Haaland does not have the captaincy armband for me. Not going to be captaining Haaland, which I think is going to be the case for the majority of you. If you are deciding to captain Haaland, let me know in the comments why you're doing that over going for the likes of Rashford, Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Weghorst, for example. I probably still would captain him over Erling Haaland. Maybe not, maybe not. Maybe that's a push. We've been burnt by Weghorst before. But captaincy at least is going to be on Marcus Rashford. Now, you can see here, I've actually got the triple captaincy on him. In my chip strategy video, I spoke about the need to play your triple captain in either game week 22 or game week 23. I don't think there's a need to hold it beyond then. So I basically, do I think Haaland in game week 23 or Marcus Rashford in game week 22? I am going to keep an eye on how many minutes he plays in the cup match tonight. Again, if it's limited and I think he's good to start both in the double, then I'm pretty sure it's going to be Marcus Rashford. We're looking at about a 75% chance. Triple captain, Marcus Rashford. I think over Bruno Fernandes. I just like Marcus Rashford's talismanic behaviour at the moment. I do think he's on penalties as well. We've seen him take penalties. So I am going to go with Marcus Rashford over Bruno Fernandes. Now, tonight's game might sway me, but I'm pretty certain it's going to end up on Marcus Rashford. So that is my current lineup for game week 22. One transfer is going to be made. It's going to be Mo Salah to Bruno Fernandes. I'm eyeing up a couple of moves to go to Kevin De Bruyne next week, plus potentially move my triple Arsenal to the more optimal triple Arsenal that we're looking at in the moment. Getting Gabriel in defence, who's more nailed than White, and getting Odegaard in, who's more nailed and actually better in terms of points than Martinelli is at the moment. So, any questions about your team, drop it all in the comment section down below, or message me over on Twitter as well. I will do my best to answer all of it before the game week 22 deadline. For one final time, if you have not subscribed, if you have not liked the video, try and hit 1,000 likes on this game week 22 team selection. If I don't see you before then, good luck in game week 22, but there will be a deadline stream on Friday evening. Again, a Friday evening deadline. Do not forget. Thank you all for watching, like and subscribe before you go, and I'll be back again very soon.